Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning in with me. Again, I really appreciate you all just coming by and stopping by to spend some time here with me. So basically, I wanted to kind of get to know you guys a little bit more, share a little bit more about my story and who I am. Of course, you know that if I'm going to share something, there's always sort of like a lesson or a word that comes with that. So I just want to take you back, as some of you might know or might not know. I've shared this on my Instagram on Katie Pop Secrets, and I talked about the fact that I was in a relationship for a very long time. I was in a relationship for almost 10 years. And I want to kind of just talk to you a little bit about the transition period of sort of coming off of that, and pretty much like what I went through emotionally in regards to that. So basically, there's so much to it, but I'm going to talk about the transition period, I guess you can say. So basically, I was at the point pretty much at the end of it where I decided, or I knew that God was trying to tell me that it was time for me to sort of like to do something different, to kind of step away from that. Again, this is something that I kind of avoided for a while because God was talking to me time and time before, but I think I kind of ignored it and just kept doing what I wanted to do rather than listening to what God was telling me to do. And I'm sure you guys can all relate to that, but don't do that. It never works out in your favor. Listen when you're supposed to listen because it causes you more heartache than anything. So long story short, I was coming out of that zone of being in a relationship for 10 years. And it was really scary. It was really hard for me just because it was someone that I've known for such a long time. Somebody that at that point was like my person, somebody that I potentially in that season of life thought that was going to be the person that I would end up with for a long time, right? So it was really scary coming out of that zone, just really not knowing what to expect, not knowing where I was supposed to, not necessarily knowing where I was supposed to go, but just as a woman, you know, like I think a lot of people can relate, that society puts a lot of burden on us in regards to what you're supposed to be or what you're supposed to have in regards to like a relationship, children, a family, and just that type of that type of cloud. I think was a lot for me at the end of it because I wasn't sure what was going to happen in the next stage of my life or the next season, right? You know, I was in something for so long where I thought that was the vision, that was the goal, that was sort of like the direction. And then here I am now, like going into the deep, you know, like I'm by myself, and I'm starting all over again. Mind you, at that point I'm in my 30s and it's scary. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real with all of the fears and the feelings that I had. I was in my 30s. Obviously, I'm not married. I don't have a kid, which I guess is a good thing in hindsight because obviously you don't want something to end and have that type of thing lingering with that. But you know, again, a lot of the fears that we have, it's like, oh, am I going to end up with somebody? Am I going to be by myself? What is it like going out into the dating world? You know, like I spent so much time being caught up in that zone and in that relationship and in that person that I didn't really take time to kind of like figure out me, like what I needed, what I wanted, right? And that's one of the things that I tell people or try to emphasize to people. It's like focus on yourself, focus on building you, building your capacity, building everything that's within you, right? Before you bring else into that realm, right? Because it's so important for you to be grounded and steady and firm before you bring somebody else into that sort of environment with you. But anyways, I'm kind of going off the topic, but it was really scary. Like I really wasn't sure. I'm like, you know, what is the dating world gonna be like? You know, like I'm in my 30s now and I'm not married. I have no kids. Like, and I'm going to start all over again. And these were some of the things that ran through my mind. And again, this was something that I felt like God was telling me to do, like, you know, walk away and, you know, and it's easier said than done because it's like, okay, walk away. And I remember that season of, you know, God speaking to me and I was like, oh my God, why? Why? You know, I'm like, oh my God, it's been so long. How am I going to do this? Like, is this really what you're telling me to kind of do? And, you know, like I'm jumping into the deep and it's like, I can't see beyond where I am right now. And you know, like, you really want me to do this, God? Like, is this really what you're telling me to do? And long story short, listen to when God tells you to do something. That was probably like the most uncomfortable situation I've ever been in the sense of just not knowing the outcome of what was going to transpire after that. And I can say, I think for me and that individual now, it's worked out for the benefit for the both of us, right? That person being in a good place, me being in also in a good place. But again, trusting God, like, step outside of the comfort zone of what you think you know, and believe him to do the impossible in your life, and let him kind of lead you and direct you and guide you, and trust me, you're not going to go wrong. And again, I think that I can say that I don't think that what I was feeling was things that only I felt. I know a lot of people have gone through that where they felt the same things, but it just showed me in that season or in that period of my life that let God just be the person that leads you. Go blindly. If he says to jump, jump. If he says to move, move. If he says to stop, stop. Don't question, don't ask, just do. And trust me, the world to which he opens up for you after is like amazing. Right now, I'm at the period of time where I have met someone and I'm in a really, really good place, and I'm so grateful for that, right? I'm just grateful for the fact of just trusting in what I was told, even though it probably took me a little bit longer of a stage that it needed to be, but just trusting in him to just kind of guide me and lead me and direct me. And again, listen, move, don't question, just do is what I would tell anybody in any season. And stop being afraid to step out of the comfort zone, because I was so comfortable in what I was doing, even though it probably wasn't working, right? But I was so comfortable because I knew that world, I knew that zone, that I would have rather stayed there rather than step out, because I was afraid of not being comfortable and making that decision or being in that stage where I chose to step away. That was the most uncomfortable period of my life, just questioning a lot of things, not being sure of a lot of things, but all I knew was that God was saying to kind of do it, and I did it, like, filled with fear, filled with not knowing, right? So trust in him, let him guide you, do not question, just move, and don't waste time. I wasted time. Time is so precious. You cannot get that time back. Like, do not waste time. Again, I hope this has helped somebody just to know that step outside of that comfort zone, step outside of fear, step outside of anxiety, and if anything, let God be the comforter. Let God be the thing that surrounds you in that season, in that period of time. Again, thank you so much, guys, for joining me at Spiritually Faithful. Well, I shouldn't say spiritual. Thank you guys for joining me. Again, you can reach me at Katie Pop Secrets, or you can hit me up at Spiritually Faithful. Have an amazing day, guys. Bye.